Have you ever wanted to make a mini version of this spectacular creature? Well, with this polar bear pattern, you have a chance to bring a little bit of the Arctic wilderness into your home. I'm gonna get you started off and I'm gonna cover the trickier bits in this tutorial, but you do need to grab a copy of the written pattern to complete him in its entirety. You can grab the free version on my blog. You can also grab the printable version on my Etsy or Ravelry shops, and I will include the links to all of those places in the description box below. So go grab your yarn and hooks and let's get making this little guy. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and make the polar bear's snout with you. So slip knot onto your hook and begin by chaining 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so we're gonna be crocheting around this chain. So we're gonna start by placing a single crochet in that second chain from the hook. I use the back bump. I think it makes a nice cleaner look on the front of the snout. All right, and we're also gonna make a single crochet in the next 3 chains. All right, now in this last chain, we're going to increase. So we're gonna place 2 single crochets into that last chain. All right, so now we're going to continue on to the other side of the chain. We're going to place 4 single crochets in the next 4 chains on this side. So you're just skipping over that little slip knot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to place a single crochet increase in that final chain. So 2 single crochets in that final chain. Okay, so that is round 1. So you'll have 12 single crochets around for round 1. So for round 2, we're going to increase the round by 6 stitches, and we're going to do that by placing a single crochet in the next stitch and then an increase in the one after that. And we're going to do that little combo 6 times all the way around. So we're going to do a single crochet and then an increase in the next stitch. So 2 single crochets there for 1. Okay, so we're going to do that little combo 6 times all the way around. So that was 1. So another single crochet here and an increase. Right, that was 2. Single crochet and then an increase. 3. 4. 5. Single crochet and then an increase in this last stitch. Yep. All right, so here we have, after round 2, we've got 18 stitches. Okay, so for round 3, we're simply going to single crochet all the way around this little oval. So just 18 single crochets. All right, 18. So that is the end of round 3. It's starting to take shape a little bit here. All right, so round 4, we are going to single crochet 5 and then make an increase. We're going to do that combination 3 times around. So we're only increasing this round by 3. So we're going to single crochet in the next 5. 1, whoops, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an increase. Okay, so that's for 1. So we're going to do that 2 more times. So we'll do a single crochet 5 and then an increase again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an increase. Okay, 1 more time. So single crochet 5 and then an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, increase. Okay, so that was round 4, and after round 4 you have 21 stitches. So round 5 we're going to simply single crochet all the way around, so 21 single crochets. All right, so 21 single crochets for round 5. All right, round 6 and round 7, which are the final 2 rounds of the snout, are similar to round 4, but we're going to be increasing each round by 3. So for round 6, we're going to single crochet in the next 6 and then place an increase. And we're going to do that 3 times around, okay? So single crochet 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now an increase. We're going to do that 2 more times. So single crochet 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, now an increase. Okay, 1 more time, single crochet 6, and then an increase. All right, so at the end of round 6, you're going to have 24 stitches around. For our final round, we're going to place 7 single crochets and then an increase, and do that 3 times. All right, so 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now an increase. And go ahead and do that 2 more times. All right, there you have it. So at the end of round 7, you'll have 27 stitches around, and that is your little snout before you embroider on the nose. So go ahead and just make a slip stitch to your next stitch and snip, leaving a really long tail for sewing on to the face, and we will do the embroidery together next. All right, so I'm going to get you started on embroidering the nose onto the snout, okay? So I am going to show you an example of a little guy that I already did in a different color, okay? So this is the snout, and what we're going to do right now is we're going to embroider on that black little nose, okay? So lots of black yarn, and I've already threaded my tapestry needle with black DK weight yarn. And if you look at your snout, what you'll see is you'll find underneath where we just crocheted around the chain, you'll see kind of these more prominent holes that were left, these gaps that were left when we crocheted around the chain, okay? That is what we're gonna use as kind of the guide for embroidering on. So you're gonna be going back and forth through each of these 4 holes. You're gonna be coming up over top of the nose, and you're going to be inserting it between these 2 rows right here. Okay, so that's row 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. That's between rows 2 and 3. All right, and so you're going to identify 5 holes on the top because you want it to kind of be a little bit shorter on this side, a little bit longer on the top to give it more of that, you know, a little bit of a triangular shape. Okay, so what I'm just gonna go ahead and get you started. And what you'll do to begin embroidery is just bring your tapestry needle from the inside to the outside under that far hole on one of the sides and pull your thread through. I've got a really long thread. You can use a shorter thread and always add more. And then just leave, you know, leave a tail on the inside so that you can tie it off when you bring it back in. All right, so then bringing it up over the nose, okay, I'm gonna find this hole right here. Up and over through this hole going back down. Okay, so just pull that through. And you're just gonna go back and forth until you like how it looks. So I'm gonna bring my tapestry needle back out that same hole. Okay, pull it through. And tighten it down pretty good. I mean, you don't wanna crimp it, but you want it to be, you know, if you pull too tight, then these little holes will start to get really big and open. But you want it to be nice and tight. Okay, I'm gonna go back in that same hole. That same stitch, oops. Just to the side of it. And you're basically just embroidering on a black nose all the way around. So you just don't want any more of the natural color to be showing underneath. So just keep going in and out several times, all the way along the ridge of the nose until you get that shape right there. You can use the photo as reference until you're happy with it. Okay, I am happy with that. So I ended up using those 4 stitches along the bottom, and then I actually ended up kind of coming out even wider on this one and ended up using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches across the top. Going in and out, in and out. I used a lot. I didn't use up all the yarn that I had originally grabbed, but I used up a lot. It's hard to see with black on film, but yeah. Okay, so once you're happy with the nose, you're gonna do the little mouth. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pop your tapestry needle out that right in the center on the bottom here. Okay, and pull through your yarn. Make sure it's nice and tight with that snag on something. Okay, and then you're gonna just bring it straight down underneath, and you're gonna actually push it through the final row on your snout there, just whatever the most center stitch is. I'm just gonna bring it in right there. And I'm gonna do that again, so I wanna double it up. I want it to be two yarns thick, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna bring it back out where I had originally pulled it out. I just split my yarn then. Okay. And I'm gonna bring it back down again and do that one more time. Bring it back to the inside. Okay, and there we go. You've got your little snout and your mouth. All right, so go ahead and just snip your tapestry yarn and just tie it off on the inside somehow. You're not gonna see it, so it doesn't need to be pretty or anything. You just want it to be tied off. And you will lightly stuff that snout, and we will seam it onto the head momentarily. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to sew on the snout onto the polar bear's head. So here we have the head. So find the front, which will be the opposite side of where you've ended all of your rows. Okay, so find the front of the face. And then just a little pro tip, I mean, this is how I do it, is you'll see as you've gone around and made your increases, it creates a hexagon shape to your circle. And I find kind of the ends of 2 of those hexagons on the front of the face. And I place the snout right in the middle. So you can kind of see the increases coming down here and the increases coming down here and creating kind of a flat space right on the front. So this is gonna be the front of my face. I'm gonna stuff the nose with a little bit of recycled cotton. You'll stuff it a little bit more right at the very end before you finish seaming it all the way around. But go ahead and just stuff it lightly at this point as well. Kind of shape it a little bit. Okay, great. So now, with the top of the snout gets sewn to the face, to the front of the face, over rounds 15, with the top lined up, I should say, at row 15, and the bottom lined up at row 24. So I'm going to count down, and I'm going to pin it there on row 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so I'm going to take the top of my snout, and I'm going to put it right there at row 15. I'm going to pin it just to kind of hold it so I can get it all aligned correctly. All right, so now that was 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. All right, so I'm going to pin the bottom of the snout down here at row 24. Okay, so just kind of go ahead and, yeah, shape it like that. Get it all lined up. Okay, so this is where I left off on my snout. So I've got my long tail that I had left, or that I had snipped. I'm gonna thread my tapestry needle, and we're gonna sew this snout on using the back stitch. So I'm gonna just do my very best slowly as I go around to keep it centered and aligned over the proper rounds. And so I'm going to begin by taking my tapestry needle to the inside. Okay. And I use the back stitch when I sew on stuffed parts to empty parts. So like the head is not stuffed yet and the nose is. So I am using the embroidery back stitch to sew this on because I can get the tapestry needle all the way to the inside of the head. All right, so I am going to bring my tapestry needle up the next stitch, okay, and out, I should say under both loops of that very next stitch on the snout, okay, under both loops. Okay, so I'm going to pull my needle up through. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I am going to go backwards, down to where my thread just was, or my yarn just was. So I'm going back. So I'll show you again. But I'm going back down, oh dear. And that is why it's called the back stitch, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my needle up. I'm skipping the next stitch. I just made this little back stitch right here, okay? So now I'm gonna make my next back stitch right here. So I'm gonna bring my needle up through that next stitch under both loops. I'm gonna move this now that I kind of know where it's going. Okay, so under both loops of that snout right there, pull my needle up through, and going backwards, back down underneath the 2 loops of the stitch right prior to it. Back stitch. Okay, again, this is the one that I just did. So now I'm skipping over and I'm gonna come up underneath this one. Under both loops. and go back down this last one that I just did. Okay, so I'm going to make my way all the way around in this fashion. Just double checking, making sure I'm keeping it all aligned properly as I go with every stitch. Okay, so go ahead and get going on that, and I will meet you as I make my way around. Okay, I am going to stop at this point. I have about probably a third left to do on my seaming, and I'm going to go ahead and stuff the nose a little bit more and just take a look at it, make sure that I like how it's coming along. I like the placement of it. Okay. All right, I'm going to carry on a little bit more, and then I'll take a look probably here in another 5 stitches or so and see if it needs to be stuffed anymore. All right, there it is. There's my snout. So go ahead and just bring your tail to the inside and tie it off. And I'll just use that as stuffing. I can just stuff the rest of that in. Okay, so then we've got the snout. So that concludes the tutorial for the making of this little polar bear. I hope it was helpful for you. If it was, I would so appreciate it if you would like this video and subscribe to my channel so you'll be the first to know about all upcoming free patterns. See you next time.